Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I saw your video. Good job. That was good. I wasn't sure you were going to do it or not, but then you said that you weren't feeling well, so that kind of explained uh,
Yeah.
why you had took like what, a couple of weeks to do it. But that's okay. You got it done, which is a big step. How do you feel about that?
Um, Feels pretty good. I mean, I had a really rough night that night,
Yeah.
but I mean, I was able to get over it.
Right. It was really heartfelt, which was good. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that you have a story to tell, which is something that is personal to you. And usually, if it's heartfelt, there is nothing you can do to improve that because that's coming. You can take out some parts here to make it shorter, but that's about it. But the story itself stands on its own.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say anything to change it anyway, because that's your story and you have to tell it the way you feel it. That's what's compelling.
Yeah. And that's also why I don't write notes. And
Right.
that's kind of, I mean, I need to get better at not skipping and going back, but I don't write notes because I don't like the fact that it seems scripted.
Yeah. Well, I'll just tell you because I have to give a talk. You saw my presentation. I have to give that talk on Tuesday. What I do is, so like here are my notes. I don't know if you can see it. It's in my notes.
Yeah.
And they're like highlights. What I will do is, so I have been rehearsing it because it's going to be, I don't know how many students are going to attend. Right now they're saying it's going to be full, but I know that a lot of them are going to drop out at the end. But anyway, I have to prepare because I'm going to have it videotaped. So I'll send you the video once it's ready.
Oh, okay.
But what I do is, this is my theory. Before the presentation, I'm scared. So I over prepare.
Yeah.
But when I actually am at that event, then I'll be completely fearless because there's nothing I can do at that point.
Well, it was just like the video. I mean, once I started, like, I was trying to keep it at the 3 minute mark, but
Right.
it was just, I couldn't. Yeah, there was no way I was going to be able
Yeah,
to
right. At the end, you were like,
cut without
I
it
think you
off.
could have ended it like you wanted to speak more, but then at that point, you were like, okay, do I end it because I want to confine to this 3 minute? And that was good. That was good. But
Yeah.
you will eventually, the more you rehearse. The reason why the 3 minute video I wanted you to do was because you have a lot to say, and I don't want you to go on at this point. I just wanted to see if you can compress it in a 3 minute video to get the main
Yeah.
part out. And that let me tell you, so I did a talk to military veterans maybe a year ago, and they said there were about 100 of them on the call, a webinar.
Yeah.
And I asked all of them that if you saw in my presentation, there's one slide that I say, do a video, 3 minute video. And I said, send it to me and I will review it. And if you want to have a follow-up, I'll be happy to do it. So there were 100 people, only one person did it.
Yeah.
Only one person did it. So I was like really surprised when you did it and then I gave a talk. So I thought, okay, maybe these are military people. They're busy with all kinds of stuff, so they probably don't have the time. So then I gave that talk to non-military folks. And again, same thing. There were about 30 people in the audience and only one person sent me the video.
It
So
took a lot of, I mean, because like I said, it brought a lot up, that even though I didn't talk about it, it still brought back a bunch of stuff. So that night, like, I didn't sleep much at all.
right.
And so I think, for veterans, that's the reason why they don't, because they have to relive,
Hmm.
and they're like, I'm already over it. I don't want to go back. I don't want to do this.
Oh, I see. I see. So it triggers things.
Does. It does.
Okay, okay. So you had a bad night after you recorded that video?
Oh yeah, it was nightmare after nightmare after nightmare, but
Oh,
I'm here.
right, right,
So,
right. No, no. I mean, is there something like? Do you think you can continue with this, or you're gonna have
oh
to?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Because I don't
It's
want to.
still
Yeah, because I don't
I
want to
act-
be. Because what I'm afraid of is that suddenly I'm asking you to do something, and I don't want to trigger anything that could make things worse.
no, and that's what I've come up to. is I'm either going to go into social work or I'm going to just, that group that I was telling you about that's putting that seminar on down here,
Right.
all of their speakers are voluntary.
Mm-hmm.
They just fly them to wherever the webinar or to wherever the seminar is,
Yeah.
you know, and hotel and that. I got an application from them, so I'm filling that out. I talked a little bit with the guy, and the guy was very interested, you know, in what I had to offer. So
Right.
that's an opportunity.
Right.
Um,
Right. So,
yeah,
the next step that is to, now that you did the 3-minute video, so you got that out of the way, is to do a short 3-minute video and then at some point combine them into like a maybe a 20-30 minute speech. So
yeah. See, and
don't like record the entire video in 30 minutes. Focus on it, do it, chunk it in a 3-minute, like, so you may want to say first 3-minute would be just your introduction, who you are.
see, and that's where I have the issue is because once to me, they're like, it's like a floodgate.
Hmm.
So trying to do the 3-minute video, it would be like trying to open the floodgates just a little bit,
Right.
you know, and then you've got all this water that wants to come through it.
Right.
So ultimately that gate gets raised
Yeah, right.
because of the water pressure.
Right. So don't worry about the 3-minute right now. What I want you to do is do it free video. Just talk as long as you can till you say, okay, I think I have enough. And then after you view it, so here's what I want you to do. Record it at some point. You think I've said enough, like just focus on introduction. So here's who I am. Okay. And let's say that
Okay.
that goes for 7 minutes or 10 minutes. Don't
Okay.
stop it. Don't say, oh, 3 minutes, I better stop it. No, because I want you to get everything out. You can always then say, okay, let me review it and see what part I can take out next time. So first time,
Yeah.
let's say you just go on and on and on. You want to get it out of your system. Let's say it takes 15 minutes, okay? And 15 minutes you're saying, I think I'm repeating myself, and you stop.
Yeah.
Then you watch it and you say, okay, I want to now remove this part. It's not necessary. Let me condense it. And then next time you'll record it, it may be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Then view it again saying, okay, what else do I need to take out? And bring it down to 5 minutes. And that's what I would suggest that don't worry about like, 3 minutes are up, I better stop. You want to get it out of the way, have that 15-minute video available. Then bring it down to 10 minutes, bring it down to 7, 5, and then 3. And once you have 3, say, okay, my intro cannot be more than 3 minutes. Because here's the thing, at some point, you're going to get in front of people and give this talk.
Mm-hmm.
There, you don't want it to just go, keep rambling for like 7-10 minutes. You're going to lose the audience.
Yeah.
So there, you're putting on a performance. That's not about, with me, you can talk for 15 to half an hour. It's not going to affect anybody because I'm the only person. But when you're in front of an audience, you got to, that's my struggle right now, because I have to keep on rehearsing it, because they told me that if I go over for 50 minutes, 45 minutes or something, I'm going to start losing the students.
Oh, yeah.
Have the attention span. And my problem is that I had to take out so many slides, and even the slide that I have, I'm just going to roughly give them the highlights, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to complete it. And here's the thing that's tricky when you talk to people. Just because what you know, your experience is your experience that you have.
Yeah.
Your job is not to give them all the details about your experience, because they will not be able to process it. You want to give them the overall idea so they get it. So you got to simplify it and saying, listen, I'm Michael Thompson. I was in the military. I'm just making, you can do it your own way. I was in Iraq. I was in Afghanistan. Then I worked at some point, it's going to come down to that. I worked in the police force, and that's it, right? And you can give a little more color to that I did this, what I learned, or something like that. That would be, always remember that when you're in front of people, even though there's a lot of information that you are conveying, but at the same time, you have to be interesting too.
Yeah, and that's It's I feel that I have that ability.
Hmm.
My blog actually, my the gal that trains with us with our service dogs, she is sending down the guys from the group to come visit with me
Hmm.
because so many people in the group are reading the blog and going, good God, like I feel him, he's got a lot to give. And so she is sending them to me to try to help them through, tough times.
Okay. So you're talking to
And,
other people?
yeah. So, I mean, it was kind of like an ego boost because like I've got a guy coming down tomorrow who, when he contacted me, he was like, I don't have high hopes for tomorrow because I wasn't a veteran. He got into some legal trouble when he was younger, but like out of 5 cellmates killed himself.
Oh no.
So, I mean, he has PTSD.
Hmm.
And I told him, I said, look, I said, you need to understand that's your story. This is mine.
Yeah.
This is yours. All I can do is give you the tools
Hmm.
to work on your story.
Hmm.
And, through the blog, people are seeing that. And I'm actually getting quite a lot of feedback.
Right. Right. And what kind of help is he getting?
He's doing the same thing I am, getting a service dog counseling. Just tomorrow, we're going to kind of hang out and talk and, see how things are going.
Hmm. So you go to the service dog counseling once a week? Is that how it works?
I would if I lived closer,
Okay.
but the thing is like mine, she's fully trained right now. Like I'm
Hey,
actually,
1 second. Can you just hold on 1 second?
okay. No, you're fine.
Yeah. What's up? Hello?
Hey, Dad.
Yeah. What's up? Did mom show up?
Yeah, Mom just showed up.
Okay. So what do you need from me?
No, it's just that I'm going to the dentist, and it's just that Mom said that there was a change in insurance.
Yeah. 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 Humana. I don't have the information. So tell him my dad will send it to you.
Who's that?
Humana. Humana.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell him I don't have the information. We just got it, so they haven't sent us the card. But my dad will send you the information. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, bye. I don't think you need it. This was covered. This particular thing you're getting. But if they ask you, tell them my dad will contact you on
Okay.
Monday.
Because like normally they don't really ask.
Yeah, yeah. But tell them that our insurance has changed. Okay, let them let them know. Otherwise, it's going to
So
be
I
a
should let
mess.
them know that we changed our insurance.
Yeah, it's Humana, and my dad has the information, and he'll give you a call. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Yeah. Sorry about that. My son.
No worries. I'm
Today's his
dealing with business.
last orthodontic appointment. He has to get some kind of retainer or something. So what happened was our insurance changed. So he was a little worried, said, what do I do if they ask? I said, just tell them that I'll call them on Monday and try to get that fixed. Because, they don't give you the card when you change it. So
a lot of times, as long as he just tells them who the insurance company is,
they can get the information.
they'll just contact the company and get the information.
Right. So that's what that was all about. Yeah. So I'm sorry, you're so that this dog counseling session, you would go right now. You're going once every couple of weeks or once a month?
Well,
Or
they do it once a week, but with the work that I've done and my wife has done with our dogs, the guy who owns, or I don't say own because it's a charity, the guy that founded it actually asked myself and my wife to become trainers.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So you guys are very good with dogs.
Extremely. I've got 3 GSDs and a Belgian Malinois. So I've got 2 German Shepherds, a Dutch Shepherd, and a Belgian Malinois. And 2 of them I've got trained in personal protection.
Right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
you're real.
if my wife or my daughter or my son was out walking and someone tried to grab them,
yeah,
they have a command that pretty much would turn them into like the police dog.
really?
Yeah.
And you trained these dogs.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow, so you're pretty good.
And my wife does wonders with obedience.
Right, right.
So I mean, we don't go up there a whole lot. She sends people to us that are having problems. We're going to it's mainly in the Boise area, but where we live in Shoshone, she wants to open up a chapter here in this area so that we can spread out and help.
Another thing. Yeah, what's up? Hello?
Oh, hey, Dad.
Yeah, what happened?
It's just that, are you gonna contact the dental place?
Yeah, they can call them directly, and they probably have mom's name. So just tell them they can contact Humana if they want. It just went into effect.
The mom's saying that you should call them right now.
I'm not calling right now. I'm in the middle of a call right now.
No, it's just then she says that they'll give me a problem.
Tell them my dad isn't right now. Cannot call you. I'll call you in another hour. Okay.
Wait, what, Dad?
Another hour. I'll call them at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay, I'm in the middle of a call right now. Don't bother me.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
No, don't worry. Work comes first, especially with family.
Right. No, he's a little confused now. Like, I said, just tell him I'll take care of it, What can I do?
No, so
yeah, go ahead.
What she wants to do is she wants me and my wife to do what her and her husband are doing in Boise. So we're going to take on like 5 or 6 veterans, and we're going to do weekly trainings, and we're going to do here what they do up there.
Right.
Because they were so impressed. And I sent you a request on Facebook if you wanted to friend.
Right. The thing is, I don't use Facebook much because I'm pretty much a LinkedIn guy. And so I'll take a look at the fix. I didn't see it. When was it? Did you send it?
It was a while ago. I think I can try to put the videos on LinkedIn.
Right.
Of the work with the dogs.
Right. Yeah, anything that shows that you have these skills like that. That's kind of important to know. Just
1 second, real quick. Will you check her? I think one of the dogs got a hold of her.
Her neck?
Yeah. I mean, you can see it.
Oh, Petey. Yes.
We're just checking one of my dogs got into a fight with the other dogs.
Oh no.
I'll be with her.
Well, they get playing rough, and we've got the one German Shepherd that we have. She's about 3. She's about 5, and she has got more energy than the rest of them put together. So when she gets wrestling, she gets a little rough. But she's the one that if I knew now what I knew when I got her, she would be a great police dog.
Wow.
Because she's good on commands. When I send her on a bite, she bites and she pulls. And then as soon as I give her the command for out, she lets go and comes back,
Right.
So,
right. These dogs that they are like the best, right? If they're military and police dogs, they're like at the top of the line.
Yeah.
Right? They're like selected out of many.
Well, like my service dog, she's timid. By timid, I mean she's not like high energy driven, which most of your Malinois are. And I got her from a kennel in California. They're $7,000 dogs with no training.
Wow.
So I lucked out with her, and it took me 3 days to teach her commands in German.
Wow.
And we go out to do work, like we go out and we walk. We do. She catches my PTSD when I start getting kind of up. Up.
Oh, really?
Set.
So she's trained to detect that?
Yeah.
Oh.
And she's also so in January I hit my head and got vertigo, TBI, and all that stuff like that. Didn't do any training with her, but yet she can give me about a 5 to 6 minute notice before I have about a vertigo.
Wow, that's pretty sophisticated.
Yeah, this last week I hit my toes on the couch and messed a couple of them up. But when I was letting her in, I fell on the floor in the kitchen. And she just came around laid on my chest, wouldn't let the wife near me, was kind of like, no, I want to make sure he's fine. I fell outside one day and I had her and I'm like, go get mom. And she came out, she came in the house and, you know, got my wife and my wife came out and helped me up. I mean, so
Right. So
they're
she's
all smart.
she's with you like pretty much all the time?
Oh yeah. She's sitting right here. See her?
Right.
She's
Like,
just like,
but are there places where you cannot bring her, or you don't go to
the
those
only
places?
places I can't are sterile environments
Okay.
and churches.
Right.
But other than that, I can, if I go anywhere, she goes with me.
Right. And when she's not there, then what, you have your wife's support? How does that work? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Or meds.
Oh, right. But you don't want to get
For
into
like
that.
surgery and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, and she picks up on it. Like last night I was cleaning up, you know, like my room, like the man cave room, and I could sense it. She didn't want me sitting back there. So
Right.
she kept coming back and like
Right.
she'd try to put herself between me and whatever I was cleaning. And it
Right.
was as soon as I came out and started watching TV, she laid on my lap and she was fine.
Right. What are the doctors? What are the doctors or the therapists you work with? What are they saying? Like, how is this something that you can overcome, or you just have to learn how to manage with PTSD? How does it work?
You just have to learn how to manage it. It'll never go away.
Oh, I
I
see.
mean, it'll always be there because the thing is you can't unsee or undo stuff that you've had to do
Mm,
or stuff that you've had to see.
mm,
You just have to learn. Like she does what I call a grounding technique.
mm,
So if I start to have a flashback or if I start to get really bad, I'll start to stutter.
mm,
She'll lick my hands and nibble on my fingers,
mm,
and that's her way of like, because when they tell you to ground yourself, they tell you to like, you
mm,
know, look at something you can see, listen to something you can hear, touch something you can touch, you know, feel.
mm,
So what she does is she'll either lay on my chest so I have something I can feel,
mm,
and then something I can hear is her heartbeat, but then she'll start licking.
Okay.
And what it does is it brings me to that exact moment
Okay.
instead of the flashback.
Wow. And you've had her now for 1 year?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you have a good relationship. So she really knows you
We
pretty well now.
since October 3rd, there's been very few places that we don't go together.
Hmm. Right.
And you know, I was in a hospital for about 4 days, and you'd have thought I was dead the way she
Right.
acted.
Right.
And
Is that?
then
Yeah.
when
Go ahead.
and then when I saw her, when I got in the car, she was just most energy I'd ever seen in her, just loving and licking and
Hmm.
you know, just happy to see me.
Right. Are female dogs more affectionate, or it doesn't really? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really. The only thing that it comes down to, and I mean, it's a preference, but if you get a male, then you have to fight for alpha male
Oh. Because I don't know.
because
I wouldn't be able to tell a difference between a male dog and a female dog. Do they behave differently, or
uh,
you would
no,
know because you know dogs well?
it's usually how they're trained.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, yeah, it's not like a male dog will walk different or act different or
Right.
be more aggressive, less aggressive.
Okay.
They're
Strength is
it's
the same. They're both strong. I mean, or is
yeah.
male dogs stronger than female dogs?
The only thing that I've noticed is and the way I do it, I train since I've got a pack. You know, I've got like 5 or 6 dogs. I train like a pack.
Hmm.
So I get down on all fours, love on them, like rub my head on them, and do that. And then when I discipline them, I do like the muzzle punch,
Hmm.
which is where you place your fist against their skin
Hmm.
and you just a little jab,
Hmm.
like the alpha male would
Hmm.
in the wild, and it works.
Wow.
So you treat them, and that's why people get so mad when they're like, I can't believe that owner left his dog outside. I'm like, where do you think he came from? He came from wild animals. Like, the dog's got a fur coat on. It's not going to kill him to be outside for half hour.
Hmm, hmm, I see. So you're really good with dogs. You could actually even turn that into a business if you wanted to do that.
And that's my thing is like with this helping the veterans. I don't want the money for it. I just want to be able to help someone.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah.
Just like the book, and just like the blog, if I can change one person's day,
right.
help one person, that's all I'm
Yeah. No, I
That's
mean
all I'm hoping for.
that's good. That's exactly what I do. I always say that my number one mission is to help people, and if that leads to something, then I'm okay with it. But I'm not going to do it for the money. Like, I don't even publicize that I work with veterans, because that's just something I enjoy doing.
Yeah, I mean, if some guy comes down and says, "Hey, I'll pay you $12,000 to help me train my dog," I'm going to be like, "Okay."
Right.
I'm not going to say no,
Right.
but I would use that money to go down and help. Help a veteran that couldn't get a dog, help them get one.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, the reason that I would the money that I would make would allow me to reach more people. That's how I look at it, because there are people
Exactly.
like I'm giving this talk to Brookdale community. It's a college here, community college, and a lot of those students probably are getting frustrated going on interviews. And it's not only that, they will all get a job because the market right now is pretty good. But if they're not careful, they may not get ahead in their career. So it's almost like, they can get a job and they'll feel good, but then what? Then they may not realize that there is other possibilities out there if they could develop this skill, and that could open up all kinds of possibilities if they were good at this skill. So that's the message that I'm taking to them. And I'm not going to get paid for this, but what I've noticed is that it leads to other things.
It does.
Like, I wouldn't have gotten this if I hadn't given a talk about last fall. So a woman saw me. She's a mother. She had 2 children who had just recently graduated. And, they're getting interviews, but they're not landing a job. So she asked me if I'd be interested in coaching them. I said, sure. And then she saw the success I was having with working with them. So then she approached me and said, would you like to give this type of message to Brookdale students? Many of them probably couldn't afford to come to you. So I said, sure, I'd be happy to give the talk. She said, I do know somebody who works there, and I can talk to her during the holidays, and I'll have her give you a call. So I spoke to her, and I said, here's the things that I can help Brookdale students with. And then she took that and distributed that email internally. And there was a woman there who was interested. And that's how this talk came about. But going directly, I had no success because they just don't know you.
Well, and it's kind of one of the things I'm going to start doing. And the hospital in Twin Falls doesn't do it. But, is I want to start taking her to like some of the local hospitals. To like children's wards, kind of, because she is. If me and you were in the same room, and she could sense that you were upset, she would give me a look, and that look is like asking for permission to go comfort you.
Oh, wow! So she really
she's very
a lot of empathy. She's got a lot of empathy skills. Looks like
she does. And so after this, I'm going to make some phone calls, and even nursing homes, some way to get back, some way to give to the community, because I've kind of come to the conclusion I'm probably not going to be able to work anymore.
Oh, you but you got to find something else to do now.
Well, that's where the blog comes in. That's where the talking with other veterans. That's where, taking her to, places, and it's just like it's my health. That's what's getting me when it comes to work.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
it's not my skills. It's my health.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And
Right. Right.
so, I hated to do it, but I had to apply for 100% disability,
Mm,
just so I can take care of my family.
right.
And my thing is if I get it, that just gives me time to volunteer.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You
that'll,
know?
who knows, that could open up new possibilities.
Yeah. And it's, that's kind of, I've got it in my mind, like this kid that's coming down tomorrow. I say kid, he's about my age.
Hmm.
I've been chatting with him on the phone for the last hour, and he's beyond excited about coming down tomorrow
Wow.
because,
That's good.
he's just, because the blog, you know,
So
you
he
know,
read your blog, and he's in Idaho. He lives in Idaho, and
yeah,
then
he's actually part of the same group that trains the animals that I have.
okay,
And I invited the entire group to the blog,
okay,
and they've all read it. They all love it. They leave a little
right,
comment. And there's been times I get text messages, from certain ones saying, "Hey, I'm so glad you wrote, what you did today, because
hmm,
I was sitting at my desk at work just thinking,
hmm,
how crappy I felt. And then I read your blog, and I'm like, he's right. He is right. This is something, I can overcome. This is something I can, I can't let it defeat me."
right, 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 right. No, I think that's good. I think what you're doing is the right way to go, because I always believe, and I think people always even recommend that like when you're down, the best thing to do is start not focusing on you, but start helping other people. That's the only way you're going to be able to get out of it. Like they always say that
Yeah.
when you like when somebody dies, the best thing to do is like people like just disengage and they're just saying, I'm in grief, but that doesn't help you overcome the grief. The best thing to do is start getting back to work immediately.
Yeah, get back,
Your
into
routine.
into
Yeah.
a normal pace. And
Right, right. Like I was just talking to my mom this morning, and we lost our dad, and she says that when I'm home, it's really rough. But when I'm
yeah,
outside with other people, then I'm not bothered because then I'm with other people. But when I'm by myself, it's really hard. She said she had a
well,
bad,
especially in a house.
yeah,
I mean, because you have memories, and that's, those, you don't really know how much, like if your dad had a special chair,
right,
how much even having that chair in the house would cause, you know, would cause issues, because, your mom could sit there and see that couch, see that chair, and it just brings back all the memories of, all the good, I'm not saying they're bad, but all the good memories of, your dad and her husband in that chair. And
mm,
so she's going to be, depressed,
right,
and
right,
it's going to bug her. But if she's out with friends,
mm,
she's not looking at that chair.
right, right. And
And that,
also, one of the things she doesn't have in the house is any pictures of my dad.
yeah,
No, she can't have it. She just said, I just cannot. If I had it, I just wouldn't be able to function. So no
yeah,
pictures. There's like no trace of, and all what she's remembering is where she used to, like what you just said, where he used to sit, where he used to watch TV from, like downstairs where he would lie down and take a rest.
yeah.
These are the things that, like she said, every time I pass by that sofa, I remember him lying there when he was sick and all that. So it's like suddenly that brings up all this memory, and I,
It's a precursor, just like PTSD.
oh, okay,
I tell people all the time, when they lose a family member,
yeah.
you get PTSD. It's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, because you just can't get over the fact. You also start asking yourself, what could I have done that could have,
Well,
like what?
and like your dad's favorite cologne. If she's going through the store
Hmm,
and she smells it,
hmm,
you know, it, it throws her back to, the reality that he's gone.
Right, right. Yeah, what I'm
So
trying to get her to say, look, you, because I just saw one of her friends who lost her husband about a decade ago, and I said, when you are thinking of dad, you're thinking of him in a sadly, but you should be thinking of him in a fondly manner because now, but she's not there yet. She still thinks
Well,
of him in a sad manner,
it's
not like,
it's hard to get over the fact that someone's gone.
yeah,
And and depending on how close the relationship was, it could take longer,
right.
and I mean it's that's why I like talking to non-vet and vets,
Mm,
because a lot of people think that it's different
right, right.
from a veteran to a non-veteran. And for me, PTSD is not. They've the health society has ruined it because they've just generalized that term,
Mm.
but they've also generalized it as a military issue.
Yeah, yeah. They always associate PTSD. This guy was in a conflict, and somehow he got messed up because he was in a combat, and now he'll never be the same again.
I mean, you could on the way home tonight get rear-ended, and every time a car starts coming up behind you, you panic. That's PTSD.
Right.
And it's getting people to understand that, first of all, okay, this is what you've got, but second of all, it doesn't make you ruined. You're not ruined.
Yeah.
Because when people hear PTSD, and that's why another reason why I have such a hard time finding a job is I'm open about it, because I've come to the level that I'm okay with it. I know it's part of me.
Mm.
It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Like
you gotta learn how to manage it through therapy, through what you're doing, and also through meds. That's, like I said,
yeah,
you can live with it rather than let it overcome you in any way.
yeah, and and I'm not saying I've got the magic, cure all magic, make everyone feel better, but my toolbox may have something that yours doesn't that helps you.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're handling it well. You're handling it well. And that's why I think what you're doing by getting the message out, because people need to hear that. Somebody who is dealing with it, but is not completely overcome by it to the point that he can't do things. And that's a very compelling message that you're trying to bring to people. Because that you're going to see, he probably doesn't have anybody. And that's another thing. A lot of these people probably don't have anybody they can talk to. And they need that peer counseling more than they need somebody that is not going through that.
And it's like tomorrow he's come down, and I sent him a message. I'm like, hey, what kind of movies do you like? And this and that. And he's like, oh, well, I'm coming. He's like, I'm just coming down to chat. And I go, we can chat while there's a movie going. Let's it's like, just because I was like, I don't want this to be a counseling session.
Yeah, you just want to kind of it's like just get together like a friend, let's talk about it. Let's do things. You can talk while we're doing things, like go for a walk or something. Can you drive right now or not?
No,
I can't drive. Oh,
no.
Okay.
Not with my vertigo, and that's just another issue I've been dealing with. But I'm putting stuff like that on the blog, and I'm letting I've opened up,
right?
And a lot of the guys I served with were like, wow, like I didn't know that, and then at the same time they're going, I feel the same way. Like, thank you for saying it, because now I don't feel alone in feeling that way.
What about going out for a walk? You can go out for a walk with Ziva, right?
Yeah. I've been keeping myself busy with. I trade like the police patches, so I've just been busy doing that. Busy with the book. Trying to get the VA stuff settled, and
right. Right. So let's. So what's the next step with the speech? How far do you want to take it?
I think we'll try what I want to do is I want to get a full introduction in.
Okay.
I've got that template you gave me. So what I thought about doing is each bold one you had, doing a video on each one separately.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's what I was going. That's why I said I'll send it to you, and then you can kind of take it from there. Since you're pretty smart, you can figure it out, and also you will have your own way of doing it. I don't want to like force you, like, oh, do it this way, because like I said, the main thing right now is don't worry about the time, don't worry about what you say, just get a video of what you think, and then you can always go in and say, let me watch it, and now I can then, like what I do. One of my technique is I'll just write down, okay, so this is what I do. Like I'll take one of these cards and just write down, I want to talk about this point, this point, this point, and not worry about, like you said, sort of like the way you do it, not scripted. And then I will just keep on making it better and better. And once I view it, see, another thing what people do is they record it, but then they don't watch it. Watching it is very important part of it, because that's when hey, I should have said it this way. I should have said it. You don't want to get too picky, because when you get too picky, then what will happen is that when you're speaking, you're going to start worrying about how the words are coming out, and you won't look like you'll lose that authenticity.
And that's why I don't watch it, because, and I've told my doc, the biggest person that I have that I guess criticizes me is me.
Yeah.
So I could watch that video and just be like, nope, it's complete crap.
Right. Don't be hard on yourself. Yeah, don't be hard on yourself, because the thing is that you sometimes have to do that. But like I watch it, but I'm not going to just stop it. I said, okay, let me just go through. I'll watch it like I'm not me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's not me. I'm just watching somebody else, because once it's on the video, I can pretend that that person I'm watching isn't really me. And then in a way it's me, but I can compartmentalize like that. And then I will, but again, I've been doing this for a long time now. So it's like almost like, it doesn't bother me anymore. But one thing I've realized is that what gets people stuck with this exercise, the video, is they want it to be perfect. And there is nothing, a speech is never perfect. Once I got over that fact, like, people always, because I think schools kind of mess us up, that you have to be, if you're not perfect, something is wrong with you, right? And in speech, what I always tell people is, so let's say you came to me and said, Jay, I'm giving a speech. What should I work on? I would start with this. I would say, Michael, what is your objective? And your objective is, I want to get this message out. I would say, okay, if you're getting that message out and people are getting it, then why would I want to change anything? It's working. Your objective is meeting. So why would I want to pick and saying, hey, you could have said it this way a little better. You could have said that better. That doesn't matter at the end of the day. The main thing that mattered was the people who watched it, or like you said, your blog. If you're getting that kind of response, I wouldn't change anything in that blog. Why would I change it? Because it's already meeting your objective. So, and
the thing about like the speeches and the reason why I don't mean scripted, like I don't have notes, because then it looks more and it feels more personal. Right. If I say, hey, I need to take a break for 5 minutes. Can we, use the bathroom, and I'll, get a drink of water, because, maybe I'm hitting a hard topic, because then the people that are watching it are going, hey, good God, this guy, understands. On stage, he's talking to us and he's having, this same issues that I have.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to what he's saying. It shows that.
Another thing that I do a lot, and let me just recommend this to you. So let's say there is a particular part of the speech that you want to work on, but you need to test it out. Like whenever you meet somebody, you not that you're going to tell them, hey, by the way, stop, listen to my speech. Not like that. They may ask a question, and that's when that's why I say that 3 minutes, people will pay attention to you for 3 minutes. You say, hey, somebody just wants to know who I am. Here's where I'm going to practice my 3 minutes. So that's how you practice it.
Yeah.
Real situation. So you're never going to give them the entire speech. But if I ask you, so Michael, so tell me a little bit about yourself, that's when you would say, okay, here's my opportunity to practice my 3-minute speech on intro.
Yeah. Just like an interview.
Yeah. So that's how you test it out and see what kind of feedback you're getting, whether the person is you're losing them or not. And if you're losing them, then you say, okay, maybe I need to cut it down a little bit. I always say that you need to have a 1 sentence, you need a 30 seconds, and then if they want more detail, 3 minutes, and that's it. Beyond that, then it's getting too much. People are going to tune out.
Yeah. So what I've been doing is that bullet list you sent me.
Yeah.
I've been breaking it down and typing it up, and I was going to do a video for each one.
Yeah.
If that was okay, if that's what you were looking for.
Well, I just sent it. That was just a suggestion. I said this way they'll give you some focus on how to, once you have those pieces there, then it's just a matter of putting it together. It's like a puzzle. Then you just kind of put it together and saying, okay, for this speech. So that's what you do. For each topic, just talk between 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you have enough of them, then you got making of a speech that you can just take this part, put it here, and say, okay, I have to give a talk about this. Okay, I'll talk about myself. I'll talk about what PTSD. I'll give this example. Because then, in your case now, here's another thing that's happening that you should write down. All the people that you're meeting, that becomes part of your story. So you're accumulating all these stories from the dog story. Then first you have all the stories about your military experience. So you have to decide that when you are going in front of people, because remember, when you're talking to people, you have to look at what they would be interested in, not what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And there you want to talk about, like if you're in front of PTSD, you can give your example, but then you also have all these other people that you're talking to. Plus you have example on what you're doing with the Ziva, and all of these things become part of your story. So you have to decide, pick and choose which one would resonate with this particular audience once you understand the audience a little better.
Yeah.
And that's why these 5-minute videos or 3 to 5 minute, 3 minute, let's say, will really help you. Once you get it down to 3, then you'll have, then anytime you're asked to give a talk, you just go in and pick out, and then you kind of put it all together and say, okay, this 3 minute I already know, then I'll bring this example, and I got a making of a speech. And it'll never be perfect. Each time you do it in front of audience, it'll sound different because it's like you're improvising. But here's the thing. You can only improvise, by the way, if you've already gone through it. Like, say, I've been practicing this so that when I give my talk on Tuesday, it will not look anything like my rehearsal because I can improvise because I've already gone through it so many times that I can decide at that moment. There's an energy that the thing is that when you give a talk by yourself, so here's another thing to remember. The talk you're giving to the video is not the way that's going to appear when you're in front of people. When you're in front of people, it's a different kind of energy altogether. It'll probably, if you're the kind of person I'm the kind of person when I'm doing, like if I'm in the office right now and there's just a camera, I don't get any kind of feedback. I'm just looking at the camera. It's very hard. It's very stale environment, right? But if there are people, then I could feel that energy. And suddenly you are a performer now. Suddenly you're going to feel that energy and you're going to sound completely different. Like the way you recorded it, it was just you and the camera pretty much.
Yeah.
But you need to do that. So that way, at least you can see how it came out. But if you, right now, the way you're talking to me is going to be a lot different than if you were just talking to camera and not get any kind of feedback from me.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to let you know that that speaking in front of camera is good because at least this way you're kind of pretending. So sometimes, you can have Ziva there, so you feel like there's somebody there listening to you. You can put pictures there. But when you're in front of people, see, here's another thing that a lot of people run into problems. They cannot, like I was talking to one woman who was an executive, and we were talking, and she's very dynamic. And then she told me that, I have to go to Toastmasters. And I was like, Suzanne, her name was. I said, Suzanne, you'd go to Toastmasters to teach or something? And she said, no, I need to get my fear out. I have a real difficulty in speaking in front of people. But I said, when we're on video one-on-one, I don't notice anything. He said, no, for that, I can do that well. But when I have to stand up and give a speech in front of people, I can't. I just run into all kinds of problems. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize that just because if you can talk like right now, you can talk to me. At some point, you may need to join Toastmasters and find out what it's like when people are staring at you.
Yeah.
Because that you need to do that before you actually get in front of real people to talk about this, that I would join a local Toastmaster and get that feeling of what it's like when you're in front and everybody's now focusing. Because one thing that gives us problems is when eyeballs are staring at us. We don't like people looking at us. And when you're speaking, that's what happens. Everybody's focused. That's why people have fear. And that's
the insecurities come out.
That's built into our brain, because when we were our ancestors, if people didn't like you, they threw you out of the tribe, right? They kicked you out.
Yeah.
So when people are focusing on you, you automatically get anxious, like, oh my God, are they going to get rid of me? Are they going to say something bad about me? Are they going to get rid of it? So it's fear that's already built in. It's we are kind of born with it, and you have to learn to overcome that. And that's why when people say I have a fear of public speaking, it's not the speaking part, it's the people staring at them. That's what's giving them the problem.
Yeah.
They get judgmental, like, oh, and then what happens is their brain stops working. And then, I had that when I had to give my first talk when I started my first job. I didn't even have to give a talk. I just had to read something. I completely froze. I couldn't even get the word out. The guy next to me it was like I was just giving him a engineering update, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, I completely froze. Have you ever had that feeling? I completely froze. And the guy next to me, Chris, he took it and he read it, and then he complimented me and said, hey, by the way, your engineering update was pretty good, but I couldn't deliver it. And I just completely, I don't know, that was a very scary experience. And that's when I realized that what fear can somehow completely paralyze you.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to go in early to any event, kind of relax. And then just like I said, I'm very fearful before the talk. I over prepare. And then when I'm giving the talk, it's almost like at this point, I can just, because at that point I'm fearless, because at that point there's nothing more I can do. So I have to convince myself that now I prepared, just go with it. What's the worst that can happen? If I don't do it well, then I'll figure out, then I'll have to learn from that. And that's how I approach it.
Yeah.
So the thing that I would recommend is once you start getting these 3-minute talks, you may want to contact and see if there is a local Toastmasters nearby, if it's convenient for you to attend that, and just get the experience in getting in front of people and giving. They want to. The topics may be different because they have some kind of format, but you just want to get the feeling. The speech doesn't matter whether you're talking about PTSD or not. At some point, you'll be able to, but get the feeling of what it's like standing and there are at least 10 to 15 people staring at you, and see how that works out, because that's a different feeling for many people. They're not
pretty good when I went through college, when I took like speech and all that.
Right.
I had a speech teacher, or it's called, I don't think it's called speech or whatever, but he he promised anyone an A+ for the semester if they could bullshit him, because he's like, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. I gave a speech on free fall, like jumping from planes, at 36,000 feet.
Oh, okay.
And
wow.
I gave the speech like I had done it forever. Sat back down. 2 days later, I walked up and I said, hey, I just want to let you know, I have never, ever jumped anywhere over 7,000 feet. And he looked at me and he's like, well, I guess you're getting an A+ for the year. He's like, I would never have known And so I do pretty good in front of smaller crowds.
Right.
It would be like a lobby room filled that I would probably start to.
Right. Yeah, you'll eventually once you start doing more and more. But what I found is the larger the crowd, it's not that difficult because you really can't. It's the small group that can give you problems because they're right there in front of you. The larger the crowd, they're far away, so it doesn't really. You don't see them. You don't see their eyes. You don't see them, their facial expression or anything. It's the ones that are really. If it's one-on-one, that's fine. But if there's like you have to go in a meeting and there are like several people, that gives people problems because now they're up close, they can see you. So and also depending on the situation, there is always some kind of stakes attached. And that's why I like the book that I wrote. I think I sent you the ebook. Did I send you the ebook or not?
I don't think so. I haven't gotten one.
Okay, I'll send it to you. You have Kindle application. You can install it.
Yeah, I can install it. Yeah.
Okay, so let me write that down to send you my book. Because I covered a lot of this stuff. Because the book that I've written, I was actually a mentor for this course a Coursera course on public speaking. So I wrote the book based on all the things that I saw that people were not getting from that course. So I had that experience. I had that data of all the things that are working and all the things that are not working. So I said, okay, I can put that in the book. So it's more like it's teaching you how to do it. Because the course, people were doing it, but they were not improving. And I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. So I wrote this book. In fact, I have it right here. It's this book right here. This is the book.
Okay.
And so I have how to do messaging. So basically it boils down to three things essentially. You got to know your stuff. Like, for example, about PTSD, okay?
Yeah.
So that's a checkboard. The second thing is you got to have a message. Because the reason is that people are not going to remember much after the speech. That's why my book is called, Winning Speech Moments, because a speech itself, there's a lot of stuff to process. And one of the things that I always have a problem with is what you know is what you know. Your job is to get me to remember 10% of what you're communicating. And if you can't get me to remember at least 10%, then you have failed as a speaker. So you got to give a speech in a way that there are parts of it that I'll be able to remember. And the message is something you've got to have. Otherwise, I will not tie what you're saying to the message. Does that make sense? Right? So you got to have a message for the PTSD, that once you have that message, then you got to keep repeating it so then people will remember the message. So that's the second component of a speech. And the third is the most important. Speech at the end of the day is a performance.
Yeah.
So that's a different skill. It's not that you have to be an actor or anything, but you got to be performing, because it's not a written word. People cannot perform when they're writing, but when you're speaking,
you can't just stand still.
Yeah, you got to show some energy, the way you express yourself, the way you pause, the way you move. You can't, everything is got to be calibrated. If you move too much, that can get distracting. If you're just frozen like a potted plant, that could be distracting. So you just have to kind of get the feeling, and you got to avoid these motions, gestures that you're doing, but you're not noticing it, but the audience is.
Yeah.
And these are the things and the problem is that when you start, and also those what do I call those words that people tend to
like catchphrases.
Yeah, nits. I have a thing that I always do when I'm talking is I always use right. I'll say something and say right. I know I'm doing it, but I have to avoid it. So certain things are very hard. Like some people will keep using the word, I mean, you may not realize it, but it's very annoying for the audience.
Yeah, mine's as well.
Yeah, so the performance is very important, because the performance is visual. So that's what they see. Then they hear, and then they're listening to the words. Now, people say the words are not important. That's not really true. It's always say, like, if you see a sports car, you're impressed with the sports car because it's visual. But the sports car also has to have that engine noise that also is very important. But the sports car could not move without the fuel. So words are your fuel. Your speech stops if you have nothing to say.
Yeah.
And how you say it, that's your voice, right? So you have a very good projecting voice that really comes out. So that's a part that you already are born with. There's nothing, I don't have that kind of voice like you do. So that resonate. People really get it when you say it's a voice that's kind of pleasing to listen to. And it's kind of has a lot of authority to that, which is good. So just like work on that. That's good. Then the third thing is the visual part. That's what people are noticing. So if you look stiff, then that's what they're noticing. And now they're not paying attention to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And if you look nervous, people are now noticing that too. And you're making them uncomfortable.
Well, they're paying more attention to your nervousness than your story or whatever you're talking about.
Yeah. So the performance becomes extremely important when you're getting in front of people, but when you're writing, you're not there.
Yeah.
It's written, you can edit it and just say, I can put it on Facebook or something. But when you are in front of people, that's a totally new animal now.
Yeah.
And that requires a lot of, I just want you to be attuned to that, because some of the things that'll happen and you'll feel like, oh my God, I could have done better. Some of these things, just do it. And eventually you will start picking it up and you'll improve. That's how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this for a while.
It's not an overnight thing.
And it's still a lot of work. And people don't realize, like most people, I tell them that if you want to do marketing, the most effective marketing is you getting in front of people and giving a talk. Like, for example, if you want to show that you are the person who understands the PTSD, it's not just enough for you to understand it. It's now, you got to basically take it and turn it into a message. You know enough about PTSD. There are a lot of people know about PTSD. Now you got to create a message, and then you have to create a performance so that the people will feel it.
Yeah.
And that's the part about when I say that the performance part is very important when it comes to public speaking. Any kind of speaking, actually. I don't like the word public speaking because it's any kind of speaking, even private speaking. Like if I was interviewing you and you would have to impress me. So if you can do that, if you can create a performance, then I'll be impressed.
Yeah.
So I think you got a strategy now. You're going to work on these videos and just whenever you just turn on what do you use? A smartphone, or you have
I just use my cell phone. It fits right on my steering wheel in the car, and I'm able to do it that way.
Oh, okay. So you just go in the car and just record it. And like I said, just don't stop it, because that's another thing that happens. You stop it. Oh, I could have said it this way. Just, if you have nothing to say, just stop and then continue from, just like I said, just write down like a few points. Just write down a few points like I have here. I don't know if you can see it. Oops.
Yeah.
So I got like a few points here.
There you go.
And then what I'll do in the beginning is I just want the flow. So I'll just kind of go through it. Like I'm just introducing myself, saying good afternoon, kind of welcome. I'm not scripting it. Then I'll go into my talk, the topic, why did I title it that way, give an example, then introduce myself, thank the people who set up the event, the students who are attending, then go into my personal example, things like that. So I just want to make sure, because here's the thing, I'm not going to have that when I'm giving the talk.
Yeah.
So the main thing is that if I'm thinking too much, and this will happen, no matter how much I prepare, there are things afterwards I'll say, oh, I wanted to say that, but the audience will not notice it. What the audience notices, snake charmers, right?
Yeah.
Snake charmers, they play that some flute type of an instrument. Snakes cannot hear.
No, it's the movement.
The way the guy's moving the flute is what they're reacting to. So you think like, oh, they're really dancing to the music. They can't listen to the music. They're just dancing because the way he's moving the flute.
Yeah.
So when you're giving a speech, think of your audience like snakes, and you're the snake charmer, okay? The way you move is what they're going to notice first. And then they're going to notice your voice. How is he saying it? And at some point, it all has to get coordinated. And once you coordinate your movement with your voice, with your words, then you got it perfected at that point. Then, of course, then the part is you got to have the passion behind it too.
Yeah.
So when you break it down, it gets very complicated, but I don't want you to think that way right now.
I actually, the breaking it down is actually making it easier for me. So. Okay.
Right. But I'm glad you got the 3-minute video out of the way. So I know that you have the capability, you can do it, and you took the time to do it. Now you just can't stop. That's it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're like, oh man, this is too much work. Oh man, I could do something else. But like I said, and like some days you have bad days, which is fine. You'll have bad days. And when you have bad days, then just, watch other people giving a talk and see, what they're saying. And like I said, another thing I think I told you, so I have this. I don't know if you can see this. This is my audio recorder.
Uh-huh.
So I keep this with me all the time. Like some people have diary. I have a diary, but I don't use it because it's too much work sometimes when I'm driving to write down in my diary. So I will just turn on the audio recorder and I'll record my thoughts. So I think you can do that in a smartphone too. So I like to keep it separate because you get used to something and you stick to it, even though it's old, but I like it. But what it does is it allows me to, so here's a thing that you may want to mention to this person you're seeing. I don't know if this is not coming from I don't work with people with PTSD, but this is something that helps me, but it's something that you may want to check. You want to listen to yourself. And the only way you listen to yourself, like a lot of times you're going to be the only person around and something comes up and you have thoughts, just record it. And then you can listen to it because those thoughts, you're capturing some very important information on how you're feeling.
Yeah.
You don't want to just, I'm thinking about this nightmare. How am I feeling? If you can record it, then you will know exactly what that feeling was like. And you got it out of the system because you just talked about it.
It's just like talking to someone about it.
Yeah. Right. Because most of my thoughts, I'll record it when I go for my walk. And then I'll listen to it and I'm like, wow, that was pretty profound that I came up with. And like I said, 9 out of 10 probably a junk, but at least I got it on the. It's essentially a brain dump.
Yeah.
I'm brain dumping things that are coming into my head. And in the morning when I'm walking, it's perfect because it's early in the morning. It's maybe 1 or 2 hours after I've gotten up. So my mind is very fresh with all kinds of ideas. So that's when I'm more likely to come up with ideas that I don't want to lose them. Otherwise they're gone forever. I wouldn't even know it. But once it's there, I can go back and say, oh yeah, I now know what I was thinking of. And then I can turn that into a blog, include it in my speech or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the habit that I have that I think I've been doing it now for so many years that I would always recommend to people that we are all like thinking machines. But if you're not capturing it, then there's nothing there. You have nothing to show it. And since you're writing blogs, I find that to be very helpful because so the other thing that I'm doing, which something I don't know if this would be, so I reach out to people and I send them like a request. I said, hey, by the way, I like somebody that you know of that I have 5 questions for you, and then you send them the questions and they'll send you the answer, and then I publish that as a blog. So what that does is it allows me to network with people. And then I also ask them, that I always have one bonus question, extra question. And then I'll ask them to recommend like 5 books that that has influenced their thinking. And once they send it to me, I'll turn that into a blog. So what it's doing is that it's allowing me to produce content. It's allowing me to network with other people and get their thoughts. and that's good. And also, it's not like I have to come up with all the thoughts myself. So otherwise, you'll go crazy. So this way I can get other people to help me, and they like it, and I promote it. So like just recently, I did that with a woman who has her own company in California. I never met her. I just reached out to her and said, hey, by the way, I think his name is Ladan. I have it in my blog. I said, would you be happy? She has a, what do you call those, like a resume, where people send resumes out.
Oh, okay.
She started her company called BIA or something like that. And I said, I have some questions because I'm going to be giving a talk and I have some 5 questions. Would you be open to answering these questions? Some of them will say no, never respond. Some idiots will never respond. So that's okay. That's how it goes. And she responded. She was like, wow, I'd be happy to. And then she sent me her questions. I said, I need an image of your headshot, and then I'll publish it as a blog, and then she can promote it. So that also helps me. So if you try to promote somebody, that's another thing. They love you because everybody likes to be promoted.
Okay.
So at some point, if you have a blog or something, then you can just go and contact people, especially around PTSD. If that's your area, then you can contact different therapists or somebody who's doing something with dogs or something, saying, hey, by the way, I like to help out. I have a blog that I'm writing. Here are my 5 questions. If you'd be happy, if you would be kind enough to answer that, I can turn that into a blog and then promote it. And they usually will, if they're decent people, they like to help out like you, they'll say yes, sure. If you're providing that kind of service, sure. And then you're promoting them. So they can then take that and show it to other people.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. You can take a look at the way I have done it. I can send you some links. And
if you would.
Yeah, I just got some answers back from this guy that I just, famous people don't do it. They seem to be too busy or something. It's like somebody's really famous, then I don't reach out to them. They're not the people that are going to. But people that are like us, who are doing something interesting, then they will. Or so at some point, if you're ready, I can even send you 5 questions when you think that you can.
Go ahead and send it today with the rest of the other stuff.
Because I have to come up with the questions, because I need to see some work. So once you do the videos, then I'll have a bed. Then I can. So once you start doing the videos, because right now if I send it to you, it would be kind of out of nowhere. Because if I'm promoting you, I need them to go to some place so they can get more information. Okay. So once you have that set up, then I can send you the 5 questions, and then I can create a blog out of that, and then you can use it to promote it. Like if you want to get a speaking gig or anything like that. So let's say you do a YouTube channel and you create your videos, that would be good. So then I have something to look at. Then I can send people to go to your blog site, go to your website, go to your YouTube site, etc.
Okay.
So keep that in mind, that that as you are meeting people, that if they're interesting, then you can just send them like 5 questions and ask them, if there are any books because books is kind of important to me. So I always ask them, because if somebody's thinking, that means they're reading books.
Yeah.
So I'd like to find out, you may have your own ideas. I'm just saying, this is what I'm doing. And you could copy it or you could tweak it the way you see fit. But this allows you to meet other people rather than just hey man, I'd like to talk to you. Because when you offer something to them, so if I came to you and said, hey, Michael, I want to talk to you, you'd be like, you can kind of brush me off and say, I mean, you're a nice guy, you wouldn't do it, but you can easily say, I don't know if I want to waste time. This guy, I don't know him. Where is he coming from? What's his intention? But if I came to you and said, hey, Michael, I saw your video and I have 5 questions that I would like to ask you. And if you'd be open to answering them, I can take those answers and turn it into a blog that I can use to promote what you're doing. Now, that's a different approach than the first one.
Yeah.
The first approach is hey, man, I want to talk to you. You're like, dude, I don't have that kind of time. The second one is wow, this guy is he's basically providing some kind of service here. And that changes things. The second approach is hey, he's going out and he's going to do something that could potentially get my message out. Everybody likes their message to get out. That's how we're wired. If you're doing PTSD, don't you want other people to get your message out, if that's that's your passion, then you want other people to know what you're doing. If that's what you believe in.
Yeah.
So then if I reached out to you with that would resonate. You would put that on a higher priority than somebody says, hey, Michael, would like to, pick your brain or something for like 20, 30 minutes. You'd be like, where is this? What is this guy? I don't know anything about him. He's not offering to do anything. Do I give them that kind of time, or do I give time to this guy, Jay, who has given me 5 specific questions, and then he's telling me he was going to promote it. Once he promotes it, I can even use it to promote myself, that, hey, look, some guy's even promoting me.
Yeah.
So that's making you look good. And anybody that's getting your word out there, you put them on a higher priority than somebody who's just, people that are famous, they're like, I'm so busy, they're not going to do it. But the other people, they'll do it. And I'm not talking about, these are people who are already doing things, but they want to get their word out.
Yeah.
It's important then, because they're passionate. Like, you're passionate about this whole PTSD because not only you're going through it, but you want to help other people out. So if anybody's helping you get that message out, you're going to give them time.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. So I'm giving you a lot of stuff here. So right now the focus should be on these videos.
Yeah.
So just identify topics, take like 10 different topics. So right now start with 2, 3, 4, and then keep adding more. And at some point you can start putting them on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, just using Facebook for right now.
Yeah, Facebook's fine, but YouTube. I always find for videos, I like YouTube better than Facebook, because I always view Facebook as more like connecting with people with pictures and stuff.
Okay.
But YouTube is primarily for videos. There are no pictures there.
Okay.
So for video, I use YouTube. For business context, I would use LinkedIn. For Facebook, to me, I don't use Instagram, but Facebook and Instagram are primarily for photos.
Okay.
And I'm a big Twitter guy, but I don't tweet much. I just follow people, so I know what they're talking about, like thought leaders. I don't follow like celebrities or anybody like that, or athletes or anybody like that.
Yeah.
Somebody who's going to give me something to think about, then I'll follow them.
Yeah.
So, so start working on this, and when you think you have a few videos, then maybe we can connect maybe in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then just want to get an update. If you think you got enough, then we'll go through it. And I just want to make sure you're making progress, that you have some.
No, I will. Yeah, once I get over this cold or whatever I've got, I'll be able to get stuff done.
Yeah. Don't stop. Just keep a goal saying, okay, I'd like to get maybe 10 videos done by 10, maybe too many, but right now let's just let's have a stretch goal. You already got the ideas, 10 videos. If you, let's say, can you do like 1 video a day?
I'd probably about every other day. Yeah.
Okay. So every other day. So let's say you do 1 every other day. That means you could do probably 3 videos a week.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks, you could easily have between 5 to 6 videos.
Yeah.
All right. Let's shoot for that.
Okay.
Okay. So let's get 5 videos done, and then we'll talk.
Okay.
So that's your goal, 5 videos.
Okay.
After 5, once you get the 5 videos done, we'll talk again on Friday, and then we can decide the next step from there.
Okay.
All right. And good luck with this person that you're meeting, and I'll send you the link for this recording.
All right. Thank you.
And if you have any questions, just drop me an email. Okay.
Will do.
All right, Michael. You enjoy your weekend. I'll talk to you later.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Bye.